Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel for this episode 13 on Calmsden Farm with me, Farmer Murphy. Well, it's early the next morning. Uh, I have completed the chores up at the market garden, um, but other than that, we're pretty much right where we left off. If we take a look, first let's take a look at our animals, and our cows are still at 80%, so no new births there. But if we go on up to our precision farming map here. You can see here's field 6, the one we worked on yesterday that we have our grass in. There's nothing more we can do on that until the grass comes up next month. Um, I also did a field 23 kind of in the background while the work was going on. Field 6, I just needed to lime it and fertilize it. That's all we can do on there. That's our cornfield right now. So I'm going to work on field 2 next up here and get it ready because we're going to put canola in there. And then I'm going to move to field 3 and we're going to put barley in there. So once we get those done, then we can start working on our grass areas. We need to get them up as high as we can as well. This is our little uh, grass field we worked on. This is actually the sheep pasture here, but you can see they all count in our environmental score. So I'm going to need to get those cleaned up as well, but they're a little bit lower priority. So it's just kind of a repeat of what we did yesterday. So I will get going on that and I will bring you in when I get that taken care of. So we'll see you in a little bit. Well, we're up here at the farm shop. The field prep continues, but I thought I'd just take a break and do something different. So we had a full batch of fertilizer in our dryer, so I brought it up and I've topped up all the gardens with solid fertilizer, and we have a little bit left over. So this is our first opportunity to sell some of our organic solid fertilizer. So let's see what we get for it. Pretty nice. You can see our environmental score. We didn't get much for it because it's pretty low right now, but once we get it worked up, we can get as much as 15%. So that'd be a nice little topper on our sales. But that's the first of our fertilizer sold. So that's going to go a long ways to help us get out of debt that I'm planning to go into. So anyways, I just thought I'd bring you in for that. I'm going to take our trailer back and I am going to carry on with the field prep. So I will catch up with you again in a bit. Okay then, we got our canola here in field 2. We can't do anything more until the crop comes up. We'll need to do some weeding and we will fertilize it. I also have got field 3 prepped and ready to be seeded, so that's done. So we're in pretty good shape here. What I thought we'd do, if we take a look here, we can see that field 20, this is the one that's got sugar beets in it. It is 387,000. Yikes. But hey, it is what it is. Our money has gone down a little bit from when you saw me sell that little bit of fertilizer. That's just worker fees and lime I had to purchase. So I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to borrow the money and buy that field because that's the last constituent part we need for our pig food. And also we can use the sugar and we'll be able to make a cake. Actually, I think we'll have everything we need to do a cake as it turns out. Eventually, I'd like to buy this field 22, and I think I'll put those two together. Um, but we won't be doing that anytime soon. So I'm going to go ahead and borrow the money here. So well, I can't remember where we start. I think we started 700,000 or 500,000. I don't recall. But we're heading right back up again. But the bank is okay with it. So, oh, I guess I should have stayed in that menu. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing to that field I did with our cornfield. Uh, I'll throw lime on it. I know it's not very realistic, and I will fertilize it. And that's all we can do for that until we get it harvested. And then the rest of the time, I'm just going to start prepping some of our grass fields. And I am going to take one of them. I haven't decided yet if it's going to be this one here or this one up here by the shop. One of them I'm going to plow out, because if you recall, we got the same number of bales off of both of them. One I'm just going to leave as is. One I'm going to plow out and turn it into a proper grass field, so I'll have to prep that. So that's what I'm going to be up to here for the next, well, the rest of today and probably into tomorrow. I'll kind of bring you back when I get that done because it's just more of the same. And we will go from there. So we'll probably be in a day or two when I catch up to you, and I am going to go crazy prepping fields for precision farming. So I'll catch up with you in a little while. Oh, it's early the next morning. We're down here at the machine store, as you can see. Our money has gone up, but not because we were able to do any contracts or anything. We just borrowed more money. And we're going to do a little shopping in a minute here. But first, let's take a look at the map. So last night, before it got dark, I was able to scan all our fields, so 4, 31, and 20 that hadn't been scanned yet. I was also able to get them all limed. So now what's left is they need to be fertilized. Of course, I couldn't do that because it got dark on me. Um, Fertilized and spot sprayed for weeds because there's crops in them, and that includes 23 as well. So uh, field 2 and 6 we can't do to the crop came up. I actually never went by and checked. It actually is a new month, so it may be up. And if they are, they need to be spot sprayed as well. And because it's a new month, we can put our barley here in field 3, but it's all prepped and ready to go. Now, field number, if we zoom in here, 31 and 15, this is our cow pasture and this is our sheep pasture. And the well, you can even see right now the lime effect doesn't show up. We're just getting credit for scanning, and they've been fully limed. I find that often the liming and fertilizing credit doesn't show up till after you harvest it. So I'm going to go in and try and put a cut of grass on those. That's not something you would normally do, is cut your your animal pastures, but we're going to do that to get our environmental score registered. Field 4 we just cut recently, and of course 23 and 20 aren't ready to harvest yet, so we'll get that credit when that happens. So that's on the kind of the plan for today. So fertilizing, spot spraying, cutting these if we can, if we get time, putting our barley in here. So a fairly busy day. And if we go down and look at our productions, come ripping down here to the bottom, we can see that we have processed some extra silage here. So we can take and sell some of that off. So that'll help with some of our money issues. Not much, but it's something. So we've got that we can do today. And then, gee whiz, if we run out of things to do and it's still daylight, I want to plow in one of those grass fields that we've been kind of grassy areas we've been using and see if it makes a difference. So lots and lots we can do. I think the majority of it I'll just do off camera because it's just a repeat. If anything interesting does come up, though, I'll be sure to bring in, like I'm going to do now. We're going to spend this money that I have. The first thing we need to buy is a sprayer. Now I know we already have a fertilizer sprayer, but there's only certain ones in game right now that can do the spot spraying for weeds. There was the one that came out with the DLC, obviously the John Deere one. These Caverna ones have been now modified and they'll do it. but these new Kubota ones do. And that's what we're going to go with. And I prefer the 3-point link ones versus the tow behinds. I just find them a little easier to use myself, so that's what we're going with. And we're going full width because our fields are rather large. New decals are fine. But this is the biggest reason I'm going with a Kubota is you can get an extra large tank. So that's 7,500 liters. That's probably more than enough we need to do our fields spot spray them all, so we won't have to refill. So that's really handy. Spot spraying, that's a pricey little additive. And then it has the bonus here that we can go and we can change this all to Massey Ferguson Red, which isn't much different from the Kubota, but hey, there we go. So we're going to buy that because we're going to do a bunch of that today. And speaking of Kubota, we are going to buy this right here. We'll put the push bar on it because not the best driver sometimes. I'll change the license plate later. We're going to buy that. Oops, I don't want the trailer. And this little trailer. And oh, this trailer you can put in a bale configuration too, but I've been just using it like that. And something else I tested that we're going to use with the Kubota is this little water trailer. What color do we have for rims? Oops, that's the license plate. Oh yeah, maybe we'll put chrome rims on. $2,000, maybe we won't. You know, white actually looks good. Anyways, a little bit of a story here. I bought this on another map I was multiplaying with a friend just so we could do the ride around thing. And I thought, well, I wonder if I can use this for anything. So I found this little trailer and I bought it. And you know what? I found it to be incredibly useful. And what I do is, you know, it's a fairly small farm to just starting out, but I do have some pallets I need to move. And I started using this for moving pallets. And if if you're not moving scads of them, really, really handy. Because you can put 2 in the trailer, 1 in the Kubota, so you can move 3 pallets. It handles it really well as far as power-wise. And it's fairly speedy. It does 40 miles an hour. So for moving around a map, I should say, you can get around pretty quick. And of course, it doesn't use much fuel. It doesn't cost much money, so the repair costs aren't too bad. And what made me think of this is yesterday when I was liming up near the sheep pen, I noticed I had a pallet of wool I needed to move and also a pallet of eggs. And what I have been doing is grabbing the telehandler and moving them with that. And I thought, what I really need is a Kubota on here as well. And I can use it to move some pallets up at the farm shop, which I was doing with the telehandler as well. And then I made me think, well, I wonder if how much water I could pull with it. And I tested it with that 2,000 liter water tank, and it actually pulls that not too bad. So we can use it to top up our open air gardens and our sheep water. So I think we'll find it incredibly useful here on the farm. It also means at night I won't need to walk home. I'll be able to take the Kubota home. So let's just whip in here and see if our crops came up, because I didn't even look when I went down to the shop. Oh, they have. Look at that. So there'll probably be weeds in there because we didn't plow, so we'll need to spot spray those. Now I was thinking, seeing these bales sitting here, I haven't fully decided, but I'm kind of toying with the idea. There's a new building that was released, and it not only dries hay and makes silage, but it also makes your TMR. It'll turn your stones into lime. You can make liquid fertilizer. But I was thinking primarily of using it as a TMR mixer and we could get away from having to do the bales. I like doing them, but our cows are just about ready to reproduce. They're at 90%, and I'd like to add a few more. And going forward, keeping the bales on hand with the bale limit um, is going to get a little trickier. And that would just take that out of the equation because it acts like a multi-fruit silo. But we'll make our seed, so we could get rid of our seed, little seed plant. We could get a little lime for our stones because we're going to go through more lime here. Just a lot of positives, and it's not that expensive, so I'm thinking I might do that. And like I said, I haven't fully decided if I'll pull the trigger on that, but there's a pretty strong chance that I will do that, just for the convenience of it. So now, if you're a purist, close your eyes because I do have liftable pallets on. It just makes things so much quicker when I'm working off camera. I know on camera I always use the telehandler. But see, we can set that in there. You can open your eyes now. You can just pretend I loaded. There's a strap there. No strap when you use this configuration. Just like a little dump trailer where you can pick it with loose. But I found I've just sat my pallets in there and they've stayed just fine. And I've never tried. There is that bale trailer option, and I imagine it has straps on it. But I just been using it like that. Then I don't have to keep changing it back and forth because I've been transporting a little pig food. Oh, where am I going? I guess if I don't know, you guys don't know, but I'm heading over here to the chickens to grab some eggs. Yeah, so transporting a little bit of pig food and stuff like that. It's just, like I said, I was just been really surprised at how handy I found this. And there's even, seems like there's going to be a number of jobs on our expanding farm that we can use it for. So now I think most of that work I outlined today I'll just do off camera. If there's actually weeds in our field and we can actually do legitimate spot spraying, I will bring you back for that. Come on. There we go. But otherwise everything is just kind of a repeat, and I'll just carry on. So there's a little Kubota and trailer. And like I said, I've tested it on another map, pulling that little water tank. It does it, complains a little bit more than it does with the pallets, but it does do it. On the flat, no problem, but uphill it does struggle a little bit. Actually, I guess we can go out this way. I believe I left the gate open. So I'm probably just going to take these up and sell them at the farm shop. Like I said, I think I'll leave you there. Everything else is pretty much a repeat. I just wanted to show you this new purchases. And so I will catch up with you either later today or maybe tomorrow and give you an update as to where we're at with all of that good stuff. So catch up with you in a little bit. Hi guys, same day. I just thought I'd show you this. I'm up here at our market garden. I actually am moving 5 pallets at a time, 2 here on the Kubota, 3 in the trailer from our production facility back there to our sale point right here. I have all of the pens put on distributing, so I don't need to bring the telehandler up to move the potatoes or the sunflowers, because those you can't lift by hand. But these ones here I can just load on by hand and run to the sell point. And before I was bringing the telehandler up to do that 2 or 3 at a time, whatever I could get loaded. So, yep, this is working out even better than I expected. So anyways, just thought I'd share that with you. I'm going to carry on here with our chores, and I'll catch up with you in a little bit. Well, hello guys. It's mid-morning, or late morning, I guess I should say, at the same day. But a few things have been happening, so I thought I'd bring you in for an update. I did swap out our small seed cleaning plant for this farm production facility, new technology available on the market, so to speak. It does several jobs for us. It's Biomatana again. If we take a look at it here, uh, we can put grass in and it'll turn it to hay for us. So it's a hay dryer. It makes total mix ration. We have a few recipes. This is the recipe we've been pretty much using in our mixing wagon right here, or very close to it. So instead of using our mixing wagon to do that, we can do it in here. We can make our own mineral feed. Um, we don't have a lot of stones to make lime. We do have a few, but we could actually go buy some lime and make some of our own mineral feed, because mineral feed is fairly expensive and lime isn't that bad. We may look at it. The only thing is we need some soybeans, which we don't have right now, but that's something we look at in the future possibly. We can make grass silage, hay silage, although we would probably never do that. We just make grass silage, chaff. But the other thing we can do is when we make our silage, we can get some digestate out of it. That's a real bonus, because we can use that digestate to make our organic or green fertilizer that we just started selling. We've been making some. Um, Basically all that the biogas plant's been giving us for digestate, and we just nicely got our gardens topped up. But this will give us access to some additional digestate. But we're going to use it for something else in here. I'll show you in a second. Here's where we can do our seeds. Same recipe. Big advantage is that we can throw in a bunch of barley in here, get the seeds made, and the seeds can be stored here. I was struggling with what to do with the seeds, so I didn't have any storage. So, and the other issue was that our seeders were not filling out of that little uh, seed cleaning plant very easily, so that was a bit of an issue as well. So we can make seeds from corn, which is something we couldn't do before, but we don't have corn. Here we can make lime from our rocks. Again, not the best recipe, probably realistic though, but there's other the productions out there with better recipes than this, and it's fairly slow, but we've just been selling them at a debris crusher, so something's better than nothing. And here's another thing we're going to do is a liquid fertilizer. And this is where we'll use a lot of our digestate, because again, it's a pretty good reduction, but we should be running a lot of silage through here, or can do, get a fair bit of digestate, and we can make our own liquid fertilizer that we use an awful lot of. So there's that advantage as well. So this thing does a lot for us. I know I said we weren't going to focus on production so much, but you can't help but take advantage of these things that work really well for us on the map. Lots of advantages with that building. And it didn't cost us that much, because we sold the other one for 12,000 and this one was only 25. Just had to do a little landscaping, but it wasn't too onerous, so we did that. Another thing I purchased, and now this seed cart we've had for a long time, and I am not certain. Basically, I only got to use it once, and I'm not sure if I recorded it. Can't remember. It would have been many, many episodes ago if I did. And then it was sitting in our building unused, and that is because shortly after I got it, 82 Studios did an update, and what it did, as part of that update, it swung this pipe forward rather than back, which made it handy for parking. But what it did then, this pipe clipped all the tractors I had that I was pulling it with. And I leased a pickup and tried pulling it with that, but it was too heavy on a bumper pull. And the only gooseneck that would work was the TLX. And at the time, I just did not want to spend the money on a TLX just to pull this around. So it's been sitting pretty much unused. I tried a couple little Massies. They worked okay, but they were slow. Like these old Massies with no cabs, they were slow. And they were such low horsepower that we really couldn't use them for anything else in the farm. Then I tried this Rigitrack, and it is low enough that the cab doesn't clip. Um, so I bought it. I've had it a little while. I've got less than an hour on it, but I I thought, well, it works and gets this, and even if I could just use it to empty the seeds out of here, because it's full of 8,000 liters of seed that we bought at the time. But I've used it as well this morning to cart our fertilizer, and I think we can use it on our mixing wagon, and because the mixing wagon takes 120 horsepower and this has 116, I believe it is, so it should just do it, I think. So I think we'll keep it for the time being anyways, and I was able to get it in Massey Red, as you can see. So I think we will hang on to it. I don't know if we'll hang on to this seed cart or not. Depends how easy it is to get in there and get the seeders filled. So we will hang on for a little bit, and I'm going to try and see if I can fill our fresh air gardens with it using this. Because if we can do that with it, I'll keep it, because that'd be kind of handy. So, but I thought I'd share that with you here while we're at it. But let's jump in here, start her up. We'll leave this here for the time being. I did sell all of our products up at the farm shop, and I did sell one load, or not a load, but 50,000 liters of silage. We don't get a ton of money for it. I think it was like about 23,000 for that 50,000 liters, but hey, it's excess. We don't need it. So I took our money up a little bit, but I promptly spent that on fertilizer pretty much this morning, and some on this on the tractor here. But I thought I'd show you this process because I don't think I got to do that last time, and that's fertilizing our fields here. Our crop fields need to be fertilized, and it's something that the actual fertilization process is not new. But I haven't really showed being done with the crop sensors. I have fertilized all of our fields except the two we just planted. They're the last two we need to do. Oh, yes. And there were a couple fertilizing contracts I wanted to show you. I've done those this morning as well. So we'll accept those. There is a baling contract that came due as well, so we'll try and do that. I don't know if we'll get to that today or not, because I still need to seed this. And if we look on our fields, we have weeds, so we need to spot spray those. That's what we bought that sprayer for. So we'll be doing that, and I'll bring you in to show you that. But if we look on our sprayer here, I think I did show this. You can see our crop sensors up there mounted on the mirrors. Those white devices there. Those are the crop sensors. And if we use those, we get a bonus to our environmental score. So, and I am guilty lots. Oh, they're still on. Great. Of forgetting to turn them on. I always buy them. Oh, I didn't have that over. Didn't plan that out very good. Let's swing this over. And now it uses those crop sensors to sense the growth stage of the crop and add additional fertilizer as required. That's what it does in the real world. Here it just gives us our environmental score. Anyways, there's those of you with an eagle eye will have noticed I had the uh, didn't have the automatic application rate. If you see, you can deactivate it. If you deactivate it, you can turn it down to a minimum flow rate for when you're doing fertilizer contracts, which I just finished. So I'm going to activate the application rate, and I am going to back up and do that piece again, and we'll see it'll put the fertilizer on to bring it up to a perfect state. So I showed you the wrong way how to do it. Now we'll do it the right way. Oh, got a little further than I thought. There we go. Now we'll see that fertilizer will go down considerably quicker, I would think. But see, now it's bringing it up to the ideal, and it changes the rate based on the soil type as we go along. See, you can see the little target changing. So now things are working as it should, and you can see we're going through the fertilizer at a much greater rate. Anyways, that's all that's different here. I'm going to get our 2 fields fertilized. I am then going to plant our barley, and I will bring you back in, and we'll get these fields spot sprayed and take care of the weeds. So we'll see you again in a little bit. I've got a worker over putting our barley here in our field, and I thought we'd just have a follow-on conversation here a little bit on this production, because I thought the way I left it that maybe some might construe it that I was going to take advantage of it, you know, and just start producing millions of dollars, which one could do actually pretty easily, especially when you I've talked about putting the composter in, and man, you can really make a ton of money on that. So we are going to still do it. When I mentioned it, I didn't realize how good it was, but after I did some testing, I realized, ooh, you could you could almost classify it as broken, kind of like the taking the manure factory, which takes 1 liter of straw and makes 3 liters manure, and putting in Missy B's slurry station where you can sell manure for like 600, 1,000. So what I'm going to do, if we take a look, you can see solid fertilizer sells pretty consistently, you know, at almost 3,000 a liter on this map. And you saw we did sell a little bit of it, but up until this point, the whole time we've had the dryer, I've been putting all the fertilizer that we've made into our market gardens. So I'm still going to keep that topped up, but then I was going to sell the rest. But it wasn't going to amount to, it was going to be nice, but it wasn't going to be a crazy amount, not because the dryer's not quick, but because the BGA was only producing so much because we were only supplying with silage and a little manure now and then. So it would have we would have made a full batch out of the dryer probably once a month. We'd be selling that, say, between $50,000 and $60,000. So that didn't seem too bad. Now with this production and the ability to make digestate as well that we could put into the dryer, you know, and it seems like it has a pretty good cycle rate. Like we could make a lot of digestate and turn that into solid fertilizer and make a lot of money, you know, pretty short order. But I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to use the digestate out of here for, as you saw, we can make liquid fertilizer, which also sells pretty good, although it not quite, looks like it has a bigger span. That's kind of an odd seasonal fluctuation, but like for this morning, I used about 30,000 liters of liquid fertilizer that I had to buy. And we've got a pretty good sized storage tank. I think it's 60,000 liters that we can put in here. We can just check this by. Maybe not, maybe 40,000 liters. But, you know, we're going to fill that tank up. And so that's what we're going to do with our digestate, and then we will throw some over onto, you know, making solid fertilizer. But not going to take advantage of the situation, but not abuse it. But it, you know, I am going to use it to help advance us along in this map. But I don't want to 2 episodes away, and we've got $1 million and we can fill up all our animal pens and all that kind of stuff. And that, same with the compost. I'm going to restrict. Actually, we should take a look while we're just on the subject. Let's look what it sells for on this map. Yeah, see a high of 2,200, but a low of 142. So what we might do, my thinking is maybe we won't. We'll restrict ourselves that we can't sell compost in August, September, and October, and that as we make it, we can't hang on to it. So yeah, we can sell it for July still a pretty reasonable price, but then it falls off because compost you could make with straw, which is worth almost nothing, and that process runs pretty quick. So we'll do something like that when we get in there. Still like to do it because it fits really nice with that kind of green thing we got going on down at the biogas plant. But again, we'll take advantage, but we won't abuse. Maybe till the last day. See how much money we can make on one big run. But anyways, I just wanted to clear that up in case anybody thought I was going to, finish in a couple episodes by taking advantage or abusing these processes. I'm not. That's my plan anyway. So we're going to carry on with this seeding. The fertilizing is all done in all our fields. Well, that guy's carrying on. I'll probably get set up and start working on the spraying. But it's been a busy day and a productive day here on the farm. So catch up with you guys again in a little bit. Well, our barley is in the field, as you can see. I haven't rolled it yet, but I had jumped out to see how we were doing for time, and I was surprised to find we were actually over our half hour. It was a very busy half hour. We scanned the majority of our fields. We limed and fertilized the ones that we could. We purchased a new tractor. Like I said, the jury was kind of out on whether we keep it or not, but we hadn't used this seed cart for a very long time because we had nothing that we could pull it with because of the redesign on the pipe. But I actually had to use it to fill a seeder on this field. So for now, we're going to keep that. Now, hopefully we can put it to use too to fill the seed on our open air gardens. I didn't get a chance to check that, but I will. We bought ourselves a little Kubota and trailer that we used to do some chores with. I think that's going to be pretty handy. We put in a new farm production facility. Haven't done anything other than get it in, but we will be using that in the future. We also bought a sprayer capable of doing spot spraying for weeds we need it for precision farming. It's set up over there. Got set up, but I never got any further than that. But yeah, all in all, a pretty productive half hour. A little more than a half hour, I have to admit, for me, but half hour for you guys. So we'll carry on from there on the next episode. So if you're still with me, I really appreciate you watching. And if you found this entertaining or informative in any way, I encourage you to hit the like and subscribe button. And if you would like to see when other content like this lands, hit that notification bell. But for this episode, it's a wrap. And thanks again from me, Farmer Murphy, and we'll see you next time.